It's well, fuck. That was 8 minutes. No way. I've lost my left AirPod, people. And I think it's in another country. I'm convinced I'm slowly dying. Or is it just because I've been at work 4 days and I don't want to work no more? Or am I genuinely dying? Hard to tell. Both seem so real.
Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our city of dreams.
I am not enjoying work in the slightest, mate. No. I am looking forward to finishing though for the day. Sat at work feeling gammy, you know, not good. I'm hoping a bit of food will help. Every time I was sat in the chair just like this, because this chair is from work and this desk is from work. The desk isn't the same, but still, sat at a computer, just not knowing which way to move much. Because it's like, if I take a breath and I move my arm at the wrong fucking time, that's it, I'm gonna die. Fucking horrible. It's like it when I was trying to fall asleep yesterday as well. Laid in bed much. Tried turning on my side, I'm like, nope, can't do that. Gotta lay on my back for a bit. Fucking horrible. You also think we are gonna die? Oh shit, I've just put some food in. How long's it been in there for? Okay, I don't know. I don't even fucking know. I've got a little bit of weed left. It's the 27th. Oh, it's the 27th. That's not too bad. Don't know how you go back home. I'd not want to go back. Yeah. But at the same time, I can't imagine spending a whole hour there without smoking. Sat there doing nothing. Can't sit there and do nothing. I can't sleep for 1 hour neither. Because I will wake up 10 times rotten than when I fucking went to bed. So I'd much rather come back home for an hour. Do what I want for an hour. Sometimes maybe an hour and a half. And then just pretend I've not been to work yet. Make out I've not been. And just think I've only got 6 hours to go. Well, really, it's 7 hours to go, but whatever. Try and pretend the first half of the shift hasn't happened. That's how we deal with it. But yeah, Mosh, I need to ring the dentist. I need to fucking sort my CAT scan out. And or book a doctor's appointment. And get my fucking chest x-rayed or some shit. Because it ain't fucking right, I tell ya. Oh yeah. Fuck that. Working up scaffolding and shit when it's cold. Like you say. That and roofing as well. Fuck roofing in shit weather. No way, mate. No worse, because there's nowhere to escape from the wind. Oh, what a chew. On a dodgy cherry picker. Fuck. No. Should have had its feet down if it was up. But still, I know that doesn't always mean that it's stable. Oh. I just hope this joint doesn't make it fucking worse, that's all. The save file has 57 hours in it. Fucking hell.
Attention all Dogtown residents. This is Kurt Hansen. We've got some important guests in Dogtown. Hereby my personal invitation. Stay out of their way. They will be welcomed to the Black Sapphire. The event is invitation only. No invite? Keep out if you know what's good for you. That'll be all.
Big chewings. You working all week, yeah. Wait until the afternoon. Just so happens it is the afternoon. That's how you save the game. With an action plan. The weather like outside. Oh, that was really annoying. Where's my car? I fucking knew that was gonna go wrong. Why were they all aggro on me? Fuck off. Fuck off, mate. Who the fuck are you? I don't even know you. Fuck me. Oops. May have misjudged that a little bit. Ooh. Oh no, I hit someone. Fuck.
Reporting suspicious activity in Haywood.
Ammon.
Roger that, dispatch. This is 331 responding.
Oh, the muskrats are coming.
I'll take you for tacos sometime.
Have you've not seen 5 stars on here. It's bad.
Suspect's vehicle has been located. Details have been sent.
No.
All units, the suspect is still at large in the area.
Oh no, I've blown up the wrong car. Sorry, mate. Oh no.
All nearby units, we have a code 3. Civilian is unstable. Proceed with caution.
3 stars.
Vehicle has been located. Details
It will
have
be
been
getting
sent.
serious, so now. Why would you stand in the middle of the road? Oh. Oh no, I've crashed. I can't make him suicide neither. Oh, it's because I'm on the person.
All units be advised. Escalating to code 4. Suspect is extremely dangerous. Elite unit dispatch.
Uh-oh, elite units dispatch. Oh no! Oh no! That's it. 5 stars.
Level in this area. Max
Let's see if we can get away. Wrong car. Whoa. What does triangulating position mean? My wheels are a bit fucked. Breach imminent. What's that mean? Apparently Max Stack show up and fucking oh.
Suspect is a confirmed cyber psycho. Not engaged. Max
Yep, there they are. Max Stack are here. Oh, I can't fucking make that go though. Yeah. You ain't getting away on 5 stars, essentially. All of that started because some prick decided to start on me. Oh my god, they're here again.
It's one of stay behind cover.
Quick. Ah, you fucker. Reloading that save has hurt the performance, right? 20 frames a second. It drives awfully now. Meet with Judy and the doll.
Today, home. Come on, don't keep me wasting my food. What's going on?
That's nothing. Heights? Hey, V. You ready?
You nervous, Tom?
How'd you know?
First time you've done anything like this. Just imagine you're doing what a doll does, just different program. You're great at that. So glad you came.
Mulled it over in my head. Y'all were right. Sometimes the only rational course of action is a kick in the nuts and a bullet between the eyes.
Any idea how I can get to Hiromi?
Pulled the blueprint, got it all figured out. Okay, not all, but we're good on the penthouse. Best bet's to access it from the service level. Got a way in from there.
Just remember, let the behavioral chip do what it wants. Got no time to deliberate and weigh decisions. Just follow your instincts. Freeze, tense up even for a second. Could cost you your life. All right, we going in?
Let's do this.
The frame rate is terrible. Can I pause the game? Yeah. Awesome. Let's pop the game off for a minute. And we'll be right back because I need to go get my food out the oven. 2 seconds. Ooh la la. Right. I just heard a bit on the radio where we listen to what these fuckers in Parliament have been up to. Today in Parliament.
Failed procurement system that we inherited in defence.
We've got to listen
Luke
to
Pollard said there'd be a new strategy for procurement and a new director of national armaments. Another Labour MP, Dan Carden, thought there was another figure who might have an impact on how much the UK spends and when.
To maintain a good relationship with the United States, we're going to have to spend more on defence.
Luke Pollard repeated his words about future spending and made no reference to President Trump or his call for NATO countries to spend 5% of their incomes on defence. Now, the Climate Secretary has said plans for airport expansion can't proceed unless they're consistent with rules on limiting carbon emissions. Ed Miliband was speaking amid speculation that the government will give its support to a controversial new runway at Heathrow. Christina Cooper reports.
The Chancellor is expected to announce plans for a third runway at Heathrow Airport this week. Environmental campaigners say it's irresponsible and contradicts the government's mission to reduce harmful emissions.
100%. What the
But
fuck
Ed
we building
Miliband,
another
who
airport
runs
for?
the department that
Another
oversees
runway. We
climate
don't need
change
it.
policies, insisted there was a sensible middle ground on aviation.
The way I've always thought about this is our goal is
Oh, it's for if I don't miss listening to this one.
stop people going on holiday, stop the economy getting what it needs on the one hand.
See him eating that bacon sandwich from like 2008 or whatever
The
it was.
UK has a system of carbon budgets, a ceiling on emissions over a period of time, with the next one due to be issued next month. Speaking to the Environmental Audit Committee, Ed Miliband said any expansion in the aviation sector could only go ahead if it was consistent with the latest carbon budget.
And so it's really important to say this. Any decisions about airport expansion take place within that framework. That is a legally binding framework passed by the 2008 Climate Change Act. And this government is committed to upholding the rule of law.
The Green MP, Ellie Chowns, asked what he made of a report from the Climate Change Committee, or CCC, which updates Parliament on progress towards net zero.
The Committee on Climate Change in its
How are we doing?
advice said that airport expansion was not consistent with our carbon budget.
What the climate change...
What's changed?
What the climate change's progress report said, that no airport... They said that no airport expansion should take place without a UK-wide capacity management framework.
And he said he wanted to provide reassurance.
100%. Any aviation expansion must be justified within carbon.
Yeah, big diffs
and if
here.
it can't be justified, it won't go ahead.
Big
He
diff,
said the
Vidal
government
says.
was absolutely committed to growth as its number one mission,
Just eyeing my plate
while
up.
also being committed to its mission to achieve net zero. So the Labour MP Chris Hinchcliffe wondered what he made of Rachel Reeves's comments on growing the economy.
The Chancellor of the Exchequer is recently reported to have said that growth trumps everything. Does the work of the Growth Mission Board take priority over the Clean Energy Mission Board?
You know, I saw the way that the Chancellor was quoted on that, and she's since, made it clear that she believes that the two are absolutely consistent. She's been I'll be frank with you. She's been one of the biggest supporters of the Clean Energy Mission and net zero.
The Labour MP who chairs the committee, Toby Perkins, suggested that the energy
Why do we need
secretary
another
might be
fucking runway, though?
underplaying his views.
Mosh, there's bare planes in the sky. We don't need more.
This sort of announcement around Heathrow expansion, or do you really feel that it doesn't undermine what you're trying to achieve?
You're very tempting, Chair. I've always thought that, but you're not going to tempt me into speculation on this question about Heathrow.
But you're not sort of leaping to defend it. You're choosing not to answer.
I'm not going to look. I think there's obviously public debate on these questions.
The UK has a target of ensuring all electricity is generated via clean power, solar or wind, by 2030. The Labour MP, Olivia Blake, raised a report published on Monday suggesting it might not achieve its goal.
Do you agree with
No
the
shit.
report's conclusion that we're off track?
No.
Expanding on his answer, the minister said the clean power target was challenging but doable.
I think 2 years ago, industry was very sceptical about whether this was achievable, 2030 clean power. I think the mood has changed.
A Liberal Democrat, Pippa Halings, thought
No,
there was
Pip.
a moment of consternation within the environmental movement.
Given the announcements that are about to come out, what ways can be done to ensure that there is honest and productive relationship to rebuild this political consensus that we need cross-departmental, cross-party?
Ed Miliband agreed it was important to reach out across political parties and civil society, and he told the committee he wanted to share the data coming into his department.
I feel I sit on this information in my department about what's really going on, and I hate to say it, but how bad things are and how quickly things are moving. And I think I've got a responsibility to tell the country about it.
He is proposing an annual statement to Parliament, what he called a standout moment, when the government gives an honest appraisal on climate change.
Christina Cooper there. The Education Secretary has described a Conservative move to legislate on banning phones in the classroom as a headline-grabbing gimmick. She was responding to the Conservative Shadow Education Secretary Laura Trott, who'd said the use of smartphones in schools by students was far too prevalent.
Mosh, you're not going to stop kids from having phones at school. No way.
Does the Education Secretary agree that children's education outcomes are negatively affected by smartphones? And if she does, will she back our amendment to ban them from the classroom for good?
The Education Secretary for England, Labour's Bridget Phillipson, said that mobile phones had no place in the classroom.
Not in the
and
classroom,
that she
no.
supported schools cracking down on students using them. She also had this to say about the Conservatives' record.
Last July, they said that they didn't need to legislate in this area. Nothing has changed in this time. I back the approach that they took in July in this area. Yet again, another headline-grabbing gimmick, no plans to drive up standards in our schools.
There were questions too about the recent strikes by thousands of teachers at sixth form colleges in England over pay. The recent 5.5% pay award for school teachers this academic year does not extend to colleges. That led to industrial action late last year, with a further 3 strikes planned in the coming weeks. Labour's Sarah Owen suggested the funding shortfalls left by the previous Conservative government were to blame.
Excellent sixth forms only stay that way by attracting and retaining the best staff. But with the funding shortfall left by the last Tory government, I'm concerned it's our younger generations who will feel the loss. Will the Minister outline how sixth form colleges can use their funds to deliver the deserved 5.5% pay rise for teaching staff in colleges?
The Education Minister, Janet Davey, said she recognised the important role that sixth form colleges played.
We announced an additional $300 million for further education in the budget, and why we are releasing $50 million of that in this academic year so that colleges can respond to priorities including workforce, recruitment and retention, and to use these funds as they see fit.
The Conservatives' Shadow Education Minister, Neil O'Brien, said the funding pledged by the government so far simply wasn't enough, leading to the union action.
It's the same problem all the time. Never enough money.
And the NAS, UWT are now also balloting. So what is the government's plan to end the dispute and end the damage that's being done to these students?
The Education Minister said industrial relations were a matter for sixth form colleges themselves. You're listening to Today in Parliament with me, Susan Hume. Still to come, the pain of the train.
Standing room only, or sitting on the floor.
We need money coming into the country.
And no
refreshments. Prime Minister. Get the Empire back up and running. Get them told.
But first, the government has said it might be up to 10 days before everyone who lost power during Storm Airwin is reconnected. The Cabinet Office Minister told the Commons his department was doing all it could to accelerate matters. Several MPs criticised the response of ministers in Northern Ireland. Here's Mandy Baker.
The Met Office has said Aowen was probably the strongest storm to hit the UK in at least a decade, with winds gusting to more than 100 miles an hour. 2 men were killed by falling trees. Hundreds of thousands of properties across Britain and the island of Ireland suffered power cuts. Roads and railway lines were blocked. The Cabinet Office Minister Pat McFadden said the Met Office had issued 2 red warnings across Northern Ireland and central and southern Scotland, meaning there was a danger to life.
As a result, and in consultation with the Scottish Government and the Northern Ireland Executive, I approved a decision to issue an emergency mobile phone alert containing information about the weather warnings and guidance on how to stay as safe as possible to approximately 4.5 million people across Northern Ireland and Scotland.
He said Storm Aowen caused widespread damage and disruption.
At its peak, 285,000 properties in Northern Ireland, that's about a quarter of the population.
That's a lot.
And around 290,000 properties in Scotland lost power.
Pat McFadden said electricity had now been restored to the vast
And I've got the
majority
daft
of homes
cunts on
and
the
businesses.
moaning at me at work because their internet's offline in Northern Ireland. Like, what do you want me to do, mate? Can't do fuck all.
10 days before everyone is reconnected. That is a long time.
Yes, it
That
is.
is very serious, and we're working as hard as we can to accelerate the restoration of power.
There you go. That's what I need to tell all my customers. Listen to the government, mate. They're going to do it. I can't do shit.
Emphasised the challenges facing the devolved administrations.
Labour made a commitment in its manifesto to support the Northern Ireland Executive to improve public services in the province. If ever there was a test of the government's commitment to supporting the Executive and public services in Northern Ireland, it is now.
Several MPs questioned the response of ministers at Stormont. The Ulster Unionist Robin Swan wondered what Pat McFadden thought.
Did he get the feeling that the Northern Ireland Executive was prepared enough?
I'll try not to laugh.
In regards to this,
I love the voice.
Asking the UK government for assistance when it comes down. When this statement says that the Northern Ireland Executive were asking for things like chainsaws, it does concern me that more could have been done, actually, in our executive being prepared for what was coming.
The minister said he wanted to pay
100%.
tribute to the role played by the Northern Ireland Executive in recent days, but that didn't quell the anger of the DUP's Jim Shannon.
February the 3rd or February the 4th to get your house, get your electric fixed, that is not satisfactory. Duchy of Lancaster, that has to be sorted out. My people in Strangford want the action right now, not on the 3rd or 4th of February.
Pat McFadden reassured him that Northern Ireland was the focus of the government's efforts because it had borne the brunt of the storm. A Conservative former minister, David Mundell, said his constituency in the south of Scotland was badly affected. He was worried about elderly and vulnerable people.
I don't believe, despite all the lessons from previous incidents, that we have an effective enough system in place to identify those people who are going to be in most need in these circumstances.
Pat McFadden reminded MPs that there was a priority services register for people who needed extra help in an emergency. The SNP's Graham Leadbitter reflected on the cause of the storm.
This weather event is a cause of climate change and is yet another warning and firm needed against rolling back on net zero commitments. Will the Minister acknowledge that and redouble efforts to tackle carbon emissions in an effort to protect future generations from the most extreme scenarios that we might face?
Speaking for the Lib Dems, Tim Farron agreed, saying Aylwin was a sign of things to come. His Cumbria constituency had also been affected.
The government's failure at the recent budget to guarantee funding for flood defences beyond this coming financial year is a cause of great anxiety for communities like mine who know that they are often the first to be hit by extreme weather events, and it strikes me as being extraordinarily short-sighted.
Pat McFadden was rather pointed in his reply.
If he wants more money for flood defences, he of course must support the revenue raisers that go towards money. So I hope there'll be consistency on that.
The southwest of England was also hit by Aylwin.
He's right,
the
though.
Lib Dem MP for Tiverton and Minehead, Rachel Gilmore, said roads were flooded.
And at Exbridge, where the silt hasn't been taken out under the bridges for year after year after year, they have again flooded for probably about the 10th time.
And her area was one of the places on the path of another storm, Hermenia, which has already brought bands of heavy rain. But the minister said he didn't expect it to be as destructive as Aylwin.
Mandy Baker there. A transport minister has said the performance of the company which runs high-speed trains between London, the northwest of England and Glasgow is still not good enough.
100%. Getting to Manchester is a fucking nightmare.
Could be stripped of its contract. David Cornick reports.
Avanti West Coast has frequently
Fuck 'em
been
off.
described as one of the UK's worst train operators, its passengers often facing disrupted journeys due to delays and cancellations. Some of the unhappiest passengers are members of the House of Lords, among them Labour's Lord Bradley.
Journey after journey was subject to huge delay, with numerous cancellations and subsequent declassification throughout the trains, with standing room only or sitting on the floor of the carriages.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
no
me.
refreshments, not even the smallest bottle of water throughout the train.
A Lib Dem, Lord Goddard, is such a regular traveller from Manchester, he knows the timetable.
Monday this morning, the 8:43 again, a peak time train cancelled, and 5 more trains this afternoon cancelled back to Manchester. It's utterly unacceptable.
Hopeless.
A Transport Minister, Lord Hendy, admitted his postbag was full of complaints about Avanti.
My department is clear that the performance of Avanti West Coast has not been good enough.
So Labour's Lord Liddell wanted to know what he was going to do about
Damn
it.
right.
Isn't it the case that they have to be deprived of their franchise? They're just not doing their job.
Lord Hendy explained why it wasn't quite as simple as that.
Well, it fucking
They were
should be.
given a contract for a basic 3 years in October 2023. And I can assure your noble lords that look as hard as we can at the contract. They have not yet failed to meet the performance targets that the previous government set them.
The minister also explained the problems caused by the weather.
The effect of the storms on Friday night, on Friday and Saturday, has been to give significant disruption to most of the railway in Northern England and certainly in Scotland. And I have some sympathy with train operators in those circumstances because there will be
fallen trees and
occasions
shit.
on which their staff can't get to work simply because of the effects of wind and the associated damage. So one should be a bit careful.
Speaking for the Conservatives, Lord Effingham highlighted questions Labour peers had asked the previous Tory government about Avanti's woes, including one from Lord Kennedy, who's now the government's chief whip.
The noble Lord asked, can the Minister please explain why the government are not doing something immediately to end this shambles and outrage on one of our country's major lines?
Lord Hendy repeated that the contract wouldn't allow Avanti to be stripped of the franchise on current levels of performance. And he suggested that Conservative ministers could have stepped in to stop generous payments to drivers for working on their days off.
Of course, the other action that the previous government took was to allow Avanti to offer an extraordinary amount of money, £600 for drivers working rest days, which has been the subject of much criticism ever since, and in particular recently, but is rarely attributed to the previous government's action in allowing Avanti to pay it.
Lord Goddard blamed Avanti's management for its poor record.
If you give Avanti Trains, a local pub in London, 24-hour licence, free beer, free food, they will still not make profit.
The minister, Lord Hendy, told him almost regretfully he wasn't responsible for issuing pub licences, but he promised to raise Avanti's performance with its management at a meeting later this week.
David Cornick reporting. Well, let's stay in the Lords, where the government's chief law officer has told peers he's recused himself from advising ministers on some matters, but said he was unable to give details. Lord Hermer...
I'm alright, I'm good. We've really got to go, to be honest.
We've got some important guests in Dogtown. Hereby my personal invitation. Stay out of their way. They will be welcome to the Black Sapphire. The event is invitation only. No invite? Keep out if you know what's good for you.
Fortunately, Kang Tao's surviving security personnel managed to finish.
You two head in right after us. Go straight to Clouds.
About fucking time. Against the Nomads camps.
Stay sharp. Gangoons might be lurking.
Has released a statement on the flow of refugees from the
Got a jack into the panel on the other side. Can you take him out?
Ready or not?
Fucked it.
What then? Everyone all in position? Tom and Roxy should already be at Clouds. We go on Maiko's signal. They'll mop up security, you deal with Hiromi. But first, you gotta get into the penthouse. Okay, on my way. Elevator's on the other side. Be safe.
Let's go to the
How's
roof.
the sitch? We're inside at Clouds.
Who's taking which floor?
I'll take the lower level. Tom will head upstairs. We're all set.
We've just received word on a breaking story. A Kang Tao AV has crashed outside of Night City. The aircraft's thrusters were deactivated by sudden EMP discharge from a nearby damaged power station in...
All right, on the roof. Jump down onto the balcony. Careful though, okay?
On my mark. Go!
I'll be late. I told you, we have shit tons of work. No, don't wait up. I don't want any fucking dinner. Everything you cook tastes like sawdust anyway.
Wow, that was close. Oh, I feel a bit drunk now. That's led me back to the roof, hasn't it? Fuck me, I didn't see that.
They punched the alarm.
Not if I got anything to say about it.
You coward. I love this job.
Ow. Oh, I think that's that, to be fair. That was awful. I will be back when I feel like it. Maybe in the morning. But I don't know. Let's see how I feel, I guess. Ah. I'll see you later. Bye bye.